So today we're talking about paintball gun company tiers. A lot of other YouTubers have been putting out tier lists. I know Donkey did one, I know iDubbbz did one. So hey, what if we do one for paintball? So I want to start from the bottom on this, guys. The Abyss, the lowest tier. And this is an easy one. It's going to get more blurry as we go forward, but it's pretty easy to know who's in the abyss of paintball companies. If you guys remember Drag Gun, they made these two knockoff autocockers that are widely regarded as the worst guns in paintball. So you think of the Dragon Dralion or like the Dragon Dragonfly. It's a knockoff half spider, half autococker, and it's completely terrible. The quality control on those guns was just the lowest of the low. There was no customer service. I admit it, dudes. I bought one of those Dragon guns in like 04, 05, and I blew my Noid day one of owning it. Was never able to find parts to fix it. Those Dragon guns are just horrible.
All right, what's up, guys? It's Jake from Team Insanity, and the first person that I'm gonna have to go with that is the worst gun manufacturer is definitely going to be Machine Vapor. First and foremost, the reason why I'm putting Machine on the very first of the list, is because of the Machine Vapor that they put out. You would spend $1,500, check that, 1500, $1,500 on a marker that wouldn't shoot. It would either leak down the barrel so bad that it would bleed your tank within the first few minutes. It wouldn't shoot any paint, it wouldn't turn on, I mean, you name it. It had all the issues in the entire book. And they sold it for the highest tier that you could possibly sell a paintball marker. And they completely flopped. That's why I put them all the way in the abyss.
On Machine Vapor, those guns are so bad, even Exalt is hating on them. Like when Exalt is like, hey, even our reg grips can fit on a trash can, you know your gun and your company is in the abyss tier.
All right, and last but certainly not least that I would put on my worst tier would be Dangerous Power. The reason why is Dangerous Power went through a really rough time for several years that they went putting out markers that would just come with terrible issues out of the box. Let alone just out of the box, just terrible machining issues in general that you couldn't fix. So for instance, the Dangerous Power G4, the Dangerous Power FX, and the Dangerous Power Revy, at the time that they came out, all their fittings were leaking, and half the time they would leak down the bolt. The Dangerous Power FX was priced at like a $500 price point, so it was priced right around the E-Tex and the other $500 markers at the time, and it just came out and it hardly never ever worked.
Yo, I'm not sure if I exactly agree with Jake on putting DP that low. I agree, I don't think they're S tier, I don't think they're A tier, and they're probably below B tier, but putting them in the abyss, I'm not exactly sure. I shot those Fusion 7s, like their first gun. It kind of looked like a Cyborg, but it was way cheaper. That's what I remember. It shot okay, but I think they're modern spool valves. They're really simple, but they're just kind of clanky. I don't know. Maybe for a newer player, a DP gun would be acceptable, but for me,
If they were.
dude, I think DP is probably like a C tier, not necessarily an abyss tier. With like the Evil Omen. Let's put that in there while we're at it. Like the Evil Omen, dude. Lol. And we're in what's called C tier. Now, C tier guns aren't necessarily recommended. And both Jake and I agree that MacDev belongs in the C tier. I got a quick story about I owned one of those Cyborg RXs, probably one of their last good guns. And my screen went out and I had nowhere to get a new screen. There is minimal customer service in the US. I just looked around for a part that should be available and that should have worked. Yo, Jake, why do you think MacDev belongs in the C tier?
Good ass transition. All right, the reason why I believe MacDev belongs in the C tier is just because they don't make the best of the best, but they don't make the worst of the worst. Like, they make some products that sometimes work, most of the time I should say work, but then sometimes don't. And then just like, you know, Mr. WillBall next to me was saying, they don't always have the best support as if, you know, something does actually go down. There's not always someone to actually go to. And they have a really good following between like some big fans. But other than that, like just a lot of people just kind of count MacDev out just because of a few different options. And I mean, I just... You know, they're not the worst, but they're not the best. They're just kind of, like, nah.
What's the name? They haven't even updated their mid-end gun. That's the other thing.
They haven't.
Like, they have the Drone 2, and...
It's been, like, years.
Where's the Drone 2.5? Where's their mid-end entry?
It's not there.
They focused on the Prime, and then the Prime got delayed, and it was like, okay, by the time the thing came out, nobody cared about it anymore.
And the Prime then just kind of was like, all right, well... Who cares? Because it's not that amazing anymore.
I'll throw Angel. I'll throw Angel in the C tier. Like, okay, yeah, they're cool.
I'd put Angel in B.
Ooh, Angel's
I'd put Angel
cool.
in B. Angel's cool. A lot of people really love shooting them. And don't forget cheater boards.
Oh, okay, the gun can shoot fast.
Cheater boards.
But they're 3-tube guns, so they're kind of ugly and bulky. So it's a large, bulky gun. Some of them have these big-ass batteries inside them that are always going bad.
But back in the day, that didn't matter. That was just normal.
Oh, hey, if you get an Angel 1, you actually have to go inside the gun and adjust shims to adjust the LPR. So the LPR on an Angel 1 is not externally adjustable, and you have to do it with shims. So the Angel 1, they stayed with that design too long. I think it's trash. I'll never own one. OG Angels, beautiful guns, pieces of history. Just a little bit too hard to maintain, a little too hard to get parts. And I don't think they're the best looking. I think they're better looking old school guns than Angel. So I think Angel for me is a C tier.
Nah, dude, I think Angel's a B tier for sure. They made some awesome guns. I mean, yeah, like doing the whole like adjusting with the shims and everything was totally right. But like back in like the early 2000s, people didn't really care about that. Like that was just the normal. People were used to those big body blocks. Like Angel made some really fun and really solid guns that a lot of people enjoyed. All right, guys, for my B team, I'm putting in Valken. And the reason why is because Valken, they tried to copy Tippmann in some ways. They tried to make some amazing field markers that that can be used for rental guns. That's what they tried to do. They tried to almost intimidate the Tippmann. And they did a very, very good job, but at the same time, it didn't really take off. The other thing is, like, the Valken code and all was cool, but it just didn't beat the other stuff that Dye and Planet Eclipse and all the other higher end tier marker gun manufacturers, I should say, were putting out at the time.
Hey, I'm with Jake on this one. Valken is a B tier, a solid B tier. I've shot a lot of lower end Valken paint, and for the most of the time, it's pretty good. So like a Valken Infinity or a Valken Field Paint, if you can get it on the low end price, you can do way worse for like a field paint or a backyard paint. Other things, the Valken loaders actually function well. They're really cheap. You get like a Valken VMAX Plus for like $60. The thing will feed 15 BPS, 20 BPS. It's a good loader. But Valken doesn't really have any high-end products that I want to use. Their Valken masks, I'd rather wear flexes. Other Valken products, man, besides the VMAX, I don't really recommend. Valken tanks are good though. They're lower end affordable tanks. I recommend those. But I don't know. Overall, Valken has a wide variety of tournament ready products at low prices. So they're useful in some ways, but they don't really have a style. Like, what is that Valken style? I also saw one dude shooting a code and it had a really funky sound signature. I don't know. I don't know if I could recommend the code over something like an Axe or a G-Tech. So Valken, they won't do you wrong, but there's better out there. And Valken needs to develop its own style and really, hey, we have a high-end product. Now here's our new mid-end gun to compete with like the G-Tech, with your shockers, with your axes. Valken needs that, and I don't think they have that yet, and that's why I'm putting them in the B tier. Also in the B tier is Shocker Paintball. They make the Shocker RSX and XLS. Those two guns, I can't recommend them over something like a CS2 or something like an Axe Pro. I don't think that the Shockers have as great of quality control over them as the Lux. My personal brand new Shocker RSX, I had an HK version. The electronics were completely fried out of the box. I would play a point with my shocker and the thing would turn off. And I couldn't support my team. It's one of the worst feelings in the world to have a brand new product that just turns off on you on the field. I traded that thing away for a Vicious Milled GO3. So in the end, I kind of won because the Vicious GO3 is a wonderful gun. Recommend the GO3 line with everything. Like, that's the best bet for spoolies outside of the Vanquishes. But the shockers, back to the shockers, the quality control isn't up to par, at least from my experience. And the guns feel tiny and thin. They're not for me, but maybe they're for you. But I'm putting them in the B tier.